Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. This is the show where we answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comic books, doomsdays, all that. I'm your host, DJ Wooldridge, and with me today is Sal. Hey, Sal.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. And today, in the wake of Thunderbolts, we're going to be talking about the lead up, the build up, the road to Avengers Doomsday, and how we're feeling about that. But before we get into that, I like to read comments from our previous video. And this is going to be from the video Sal and I did talking about Amalgam Comics. So we have Cora Valentine 1999 says, Iron Man and Steel is what I would go with. They're talking about hero combinations. Although I'm not sure if Steel Man is a winner, maybe Iron's Man. A lot of Iron Man and Steel support over here. A lot of people wanted to fuse those two.
I get the impulse. That makes a lot of sense to me because they are both geniuses who make iron suits and fly, and they're kind of like their exemplary kind of like totems of their respective areas. Yeah, I get it.
John Cotta 528 says Lobo/Hulk would be the one I'd pick up in a heartbeat.
Oh, that's a crazy idea. I never thought of that.
Nihil Holly says, I'm screaming this one from the hilltops. Thor and Wonder Woman merge to be Thunder Woman. They continue, go nuts with it. Amalgam Greek and Norse mythology too. Odin and Zeus get merged. Hippolyta and Freya, etc.
That's a crazy. That's intricate.
That is intricate. It's also weird because the Greek gods do exist in the Marvel universe. There's a Hercules running around.
Oh yeah.
It's not like anyway, I'm sure the Norse gods exist in the DC universe too. Popeye 697 says combine Punisher with Peacemaker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Brian Cabral says Brian Cabral 5819 says Fantastic Cats. Fantastic covert action teams. They get sent to Earth's core to halt a Daemonite invasion, but get mutated. Thing/Grifter, and he carries big ass guns. Herbie/Spartan, because why not? Invisible Woman/Zealot. Or maybe Void, but then
Void.
in the comment they say Silver Surfer Void Surfer.
Oh, yeah, all right. I love it.
Torch/Warblade, I guess. Fire plus metal constructs. And Mr. Fantastic/Maul, a scientist who gets dumber the longer he stretches, the more he grows. Then you can have Hellspawn be combined with Mole Man. It'd be the right amount of wacky, I think.
Yes. I want to see that. I would like to see drawings of that.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah, good. In the comic, Guts, the captain says Ghost Blazer. This was our combination of Ghost Rider, Hellblazer, John Constantine. Ghost Blazer sounds awesome, but also sounds like the man might be smoking some of that green. We got on TikTok fan art.
Yes, we did.
Of Ghost Blazer. I love it. I need it in my life. This is from, it's covered in my little thing. I think it's Dana Draws. I'll correct
Deb Draws.
Deb Draws, thank you. It's covered. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Good. My little counter in the corner is covering the name, the credit. Deb Draws. Ooh, go follow him on TikTok. Oh, my God, I want that book so bad. Gerard Barter says, missed the opportunity to call the Suicide Squad the Fantastic Four, the Suicide Quad.
Quad. Yeah. That's fun.
All right. Deadpool plus Plastic Man equals Rubber Hose. This is from Lord Kira 2253. Mr. Terrific and Mr. Fantastic equals Mr. Amazing.
Oh, I like that.
Nigel Flood 7074 says, all I want is the amalgam version of Earth X and Kingdom Come with artwork by Alex Ross.
Wow. That's cool.
JSGE says, can't believe no one talks about the Ted Cord Peter Parker. It would be a perfect amalgam. Would it be?
I'd like to see it. I've seen it. I've seen it in Wizard. There was fan art of a blue spider of some kind. I don't remember what the hell it was called, but it was that. It was Ted and Pete, and I would like to see that because I like both their designs, and I think that'd be fun to see.
Yeah. Dwayne Little says Guy Gardner plus Star-Lord.
Okay.
Yeah. Sergio Andrade 8735 says amalgam version of preschool animated shows. Spidey and his amazing Bat Wheels. That sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah.
Kyle Ashley says Fantastic Six ? Not Thunder Squad. Hey man, we're doing the best we can over here.
I work with the same information you are.
Yeah. So this week we are going to be talking about the road to Avengers Endgame. Wow, I wish.
Wars, baby.
I wish. Road to Doomsday and Secret Wars. Before that, a little bit of news. I did want to mention, I saw an interview with Charlie Cox just this morning where he was like, yeah, you know that bank heist episode of Born Again? Didn't care for it. Didn't like it. I'm like,
I
no,
like that.
Charlie.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, oh no. He was like, of the reshoots we did, that's the one episode that didn't get any reshoots. And it's like, oh no, Charlie, that was one of my favorite episodes this season. That has me worried about where the show's going.
Yeah. I also feel the same way because I really did enjoy that episode, and I could see why it would have been one of the old episodes because of its heavy Kamala Khan connection, which makes me think, oh, I guess they're not gonna pay that off.
yeah. It's also, I think, the most focused episode.
Yeah,
and I started to get worried. I think this confirms the rumblings I've been hearing that the reshoots most heavily affected the beginning and the ends of the season.
Yeah,
which I thought were the weakest of the season. And the showrunner, the new showrunner, they're like, it's an executive producer for Punisher. He's the executive producer on the bad season, the season 2 of the Punisher. And I'm like, oh no, oh no. But yeah, Charlie, that was a good episode, man. Don't
bag on that.
I also wanted to take a second to talk about this is pop culture related.
Sure.
So late Sunday night, Mr. our Lord and President Trump
yes,
had claimed that he had directed the department. This is a Truth Social post. I'm pulling this from Gizmodo.
Yeah.
Claimed that he had directed the Department of Commerce and the U.S. Trade Representative to institute a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands.
Yep.
I'm not going to go into the whole tweet,
Legality,
but it all ends with, we want movies made in America again. This article goes on to say, as with many Trump tariff-based economic initiatives in this second term thus far, it was immediately unsure as to how legally viable or practically feasible it was for the U.S. government to even attempt to institute such a tariff. It's not like fucking foreign movies are coming over in container crates.
Yeah.
There was an update later that day. So this was Sunday. This post was Sunday night. This article was Monday morning. Later that day, there was an update. The White House has now said, quote, no official decisions have been made regarding President Trump's plan to enact tariffs on foreign produced films over his post on Truth Social last night.
Right.
The administration is exploring all options to deliver the President Trump's directive to safeguard our country's national and economic security while making Hollywood great again. White House spokesman Kush Desai said in a statement, Deadline reports. So I'm bringing this up because it relates to movies. Truthfully, this kind of stuff relates to what we're going to be talking about with Avengers Doomsday and the future, stuff like that. But I also bring it up because, this stuff's on my mind a lot. So it comes up in episodes and I'll get comments or whatever, like, oh, don't talk about politics, leave politics out of it. And I understand wanting a break from that stuff. Like this morning when I was eating breakfast, I watched a video on what was Universal's original plan for the Dark Universe. You know what I mean? I understand taking a break, and I wish this show could. And I hope in some ways the show is that for you. However, they're coming for us, man. Like there's no. I don't want to talk about this stuff, but if there's something you love in this world, they're coming for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like nothing's safe. Movies are not safe. Video games are not safe. Like this stuff that people like me are trying to warn about or like make people aware of, or the problems in our industry. It's under threat. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. In this case, I'm like, I mean, it's important. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine like yesterday about how I can't watch Last Week Tonight anymore. Like the show is over for me, and it's because I'm like tired. Like I've watched that show a lot, and he says a lot of things, shines a light on stuff that I'm either tangentially aware of or not aware of, but I am aware, and it's done nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the attempt? What's the point of the show? And it calls into question everything. And it made me just kind of like frustrated. It's like there was an episode of deportations, and I'm like, I know, and I know based on the history that there is, that the show will do nothing to change that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point that was made is that it's important, at the very least, to have conversations out in the world from trusted sources, or at the very least valued, informed decisions and sources as well. So like, I get it, and just because you don't necessarily feel like hearing it or hearing it again, doesn't mean that like they should stop doing it. And it makes sense that like once in a while you're going to have it hove into your field of vision, and that's okay. And it's the same with this, where it's like, I don't think that the movie thing is going to go anywhere, just like I don't think Alcatraz is going to go anywhere. And it's just like, at this point now, my brain is trained to, when I hear his like stream of consciousness nonsense, I just go, well, what are they trying to get away with over there? Like, what is the real thing that they're trying to do? Like, why are they saying that? Like, and I don't care about like why, because I know it doesn't matter, and he doesn't care, and it's about dominating the news cycle. And it's like, and then I see it, like he said it, and then CNN or MSN or Fox News or whoever like has like a 16-hour diatribe about it, and I'm like, congratulations, you did it. Like, now they're talking about it, and now like, when like there's sports people come into the White House to talk about stuff, someone has to ask a question about Alcatraz, or they have to ask about the movies, and it's like, so it's always dominated. You are always being talked about. It is always being discussed, and that's being talked about instead of something else. And the movie thing, at this point, I don't care. I'm just like, sure he will. You got what? Essentially 4 more years. I mean, theoretically.
How are we going to do it? How are we going to 4 more years of this shit? I don't know how we're going to do
I don't know.
But you bring up a couple good points. One is that it is important to not try and get bogged down in this stuff, and also look for ways. When it comes to big picture stuff, sometimes it is hard for any one individual to impact that. So it is important to look for ways in your local community to support the people around you. And now more than ever, it's important to build and reinforce your community to be more resilient. And think locally, right? But the other thing I bring up just because I feel like there's a tendency to like, I'm gonna, for other, not with what you were saying, but like in comments and stuff like that, of like, this isn't affect me or whatever. If the tariff thing happens, and again, this pertains to, if the tariff thing happens, it's going to break the back of the global economy.
100%. It's already, well, that's the real problem, is it already has. Like, the economy has been, the American economy has been destabilized irrevocably as a result of this, and the confidence in the American dollar will never be able to be recouped unless there's like a war that we win. And it's like, as a result of that, we are going to have to work harder than ever to like reconnect the global economy, because that is a more advantageous system than any other. And we are going to just have to live in that world, because it has been like the value of the dollar has been shaken to the point where like, it's no longer dictating the direction of the economy. Yeah.
And if you're an American listener, know that a lot of us have grown up with the privilege of being in the country that is top of the heap, and that is not going to be the case probably moving forward. Right. And also, if you're not an American listener and you're like, everybody's talking about how it's going to affect America, but it's going to have a huge effect on these other countries too. I'm aware where it's going to hit us hard. It's going to wipe out some other countries. Yeah. And so the takeaway from this that I hope our listeners get to is, you probably don't have a hand in global economic trade, but you have a hand in your local community, even if it's just a local D&D group or a group of friends you go to the movies. Stay connected with those people. Try and reinforce those connections. Try and pay attention to the needs around you that you might be able to help and fulfill.
Yeah.
Also, for this conversation, if you're like, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out in 2027, and DJ says like, maybe that's why. Because like, are we going to get 2 $300 billion Avengers movies in the next couple of years? Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe people are going to have to rethink. And are we going to be seeing them? Are they going to play them at the sweatshops that we're also supposed to be working at now? Are they going to be playing on the trains that they're going to ship us off on? Maybe then we'll see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so don't be aware of your media diet, but also like try and stay dialed in because even if you think it won't affect you, it is going to. Now,
right, you will be affected. Yes, that's true.
You will be affected, and also it's not even if other people, it's us, other people are affected. It's good to care about other people. So that brings us to yay transitions, the future of the MCU. Which just had its first certifiable hit in a while with Thunderbolts. I'm pulling this information from Rotten Tomatoes. Thunderbolts is the best reviewed film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Spider-Man No Way Home. The film is holding on to a certified fresh 88% with critics, better than Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm okay with it being better than Deadpool and Wolverine. Wakanda Forever and Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, calm down, everybody. It's not better than those movies.
I don't think it's better than Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Wakanda Forever is good, but I didn't want it. Like I wish it had been, not interrupted by the tragic death of it.
Yeah.
But stellar performances, and I liked Namor. But
I think Wakanda Forever is not as good as Black Panther, but I would argue it's better than Thunderbolts. And I like Thunderbolts.
Its third act fight is better.
Yeah, I'm not dissing Thunderbolts. I like Thunderbolts, and that was basically my takeaway from Thunderbolts. Is this is better than fine. This is a movie I liked, and the fact that I'm walking out of the theater going like, wow, this is the best Marvel movie in ages is a bad news for where Marvel's at right now.
Yeah. It should just because we used to take it for granted. We'd be like, oh man, but even in phase 1, we were like, oh man, Thor wasn't great, but I can't wait to see him in the Avengers.
Could you imagine walking out of Doctor Strange being like, wow, that's the best Marvel movie I've seen in years?
Yeah, that was not the best Marvel movie I'd seen in years.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. But
so
yes.
It's this is from Rotten Tomatoes. It says it made 76 million. Apparently that number is actually 74 million. Its opening weekend will pass the Marvel's entire domestic gross this week. Woof. I didn't dislike the Marvels. I like the Marvels.
I also did not dislike the Marvels. I enjoyed it. The villain is completely irrelevant and garbage. And
but they've done that. That's true of a lot of Marvel movies.
Like Thor: The Dark World. I don't think it's the worst movie ever. I wouldn't watch it ever again. But I was like, this is fine. But the villain was also unfortunate.
I would argue Thor: The Dark World is better than Thor 1 upon the rewatch.
There's more to it. But I'd rather watch Thor 1.
Thor 1, when I rewatched them a few years ago, I was like, Thor 1 is worse than I remember it being.
It ain't great.
So anyway, it's more than Marvel's entire domestic gross. It falls below Brave New World's 88.8 million.
Yep.
And remember, that's so funny to me. It made less money than Brave New World. But remember, there was a lot of hand-wringing over Brave New World's earnings, I thought. Anyway. That film claimed the smallest of victories by inching, it's talking about Brave New World, by inching its way over the 200 million, a task it took 62 days to complete. In the post-Avengers world of 2012 and beyond, only 4 MCU films have made less money. And 2 of them, Black Widow and Eternals, could be given a pandemic asterisk.
Right.
More concerning for Marvel is that 7 of their 10 lowest opening weekend multiples have come since 2021. Yes, 2 of those are Black Widow and Eternals, but they were also higher. Black Widow and Eternals were higher than Brave New World, The Marvels, Quantumania, and Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Guardians 3 and Deadpool and Wolverine are in the top 10 list, but the thuds have hit louder, at least on the creative side, much more than the financial. But here we are with an 180 million production getting off to the 28th best start out of 36 MCU titles, with another 86 million internationally. Sinners certainly did not tell its whole story in a single weekend, but few films are Sinners. I agree with that estimation. So, help me just parse that out, Sal. Is Thunderbolts doing good or bad?
I think Thunderbolts is doing well.
Okay.
Certainly, I remember I think its budget was less, it was like $160 million, and it made $100 million in the first weekend. It's doing okay.
Yeah. So this makes me think about, and we'll get to some Discord questions that'll help us parse through this. I have been very open about the marketing for Fantastic Four is not doing anything for me. It's just not moving the needle for me.
It's barely doing anything at all. There are some good posters that unfortunately have been accused of using AI.
Is this one of them?
No.
Okay.
That's just par for the course.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. I bring this poster up because this, when you talk about the production art, like the initial art they were showing, this is the tone that I thought. I've never been on board with the retro 60s setting, multiverse, whatever. I've never been on board with that. But I thought the promise of that was something like this, something bright, fun, maybe Incredibles adjacent. And instead the trailers are this. Gray, muddy, dour.
Right, but that's every movie now is gray and muddy. They just don't do color balancing anymore. Like, I don't understand.
But I thought that what was the point? I thought like I was going to get white retro futuristic buildings and zippy flying cars.
You're still going to get that. This is just a street, and it's clearly also kind of a set. So it's like, they had to use the light, since apparently they don't use lighting anymore. They just use natural light.
Okay.
I clearly, like, when it comes to movies that are $600 million, they're like, oh, don't use any actual lighting.
Yeah.
We have to launder our money and not.
We'll do it in post. But I will say the Thunderbolt. I liked Thunderbolts. Granted, and a lot of people are liking Thunderbolts, so it's not just me. For me, this is no multiverse stuff that makes it better. I like my lovable losers, gritty team of like. I actually kind of like US Agent. I like my fail sons.
I liked him a lot in this. I liked everyone in this outside of like. They didn't do anything with Ghost. I'm sorry. And they never are.
Which is weird because like Ghost is. When I was watching, I was like, can we all admit that Ghost of this group, Ghost's powers are awesome? Like they're actually really cool.
Yeah, they're really useful.
They look cool. And poor fucking Taskmaster. Why even have spoilers for Thunderbolts? Why even have Taskmaster in the movie?
To kill them, like to make a joke, like to and also, and I heard what's sad is I'm like, they're flipping the marketing and also. They're like, and here's what they would have done. Here's what they would have done. I'm like, why is this all coming out like now? This is like a featurette. Like, why is it a tweet that is like confirmed?
Because there's
Taskmaster running gag of her like trying to kill, like still trying to do her job. I'm like,
there was the original writer who also worked on Fantastic Four had Taskmaster had an arc. There was also apparently there was originally a draft that had Baron Zemo in it, which is like that would have been cool. But I say all that to say that unlike Brave New World, which I did not like as much as I like Thunderbolts, because it barely hung together at all.
Yeah.
Not news. I don't remember hearing reports of Thunderbolts being massively reworked.
No.
And I don't hear that with Fantastic Four.
Same.
So maybe we're entering another hot streak. Is a little strong, but like not.
Well, at least we're learning the right lessons. Like, stick with the movie. Like, make the movie you made, and don't like leave it open ended so you could reshoot like key sequences. Like, just make the movie you planned on making, and maybe just bank on it. The way movies are made, as opposed to like, 6 months down the line, who knows?
Yeah, it's so let's move on. So Fantastic Four or Thunderbolt seems to be doing well. Fantastic Four asterisk the new Avengers.
As of right now, this taping, $160 million worldwide.
Yeah, so doing okay. It had a budget of 180 million.
There you go.
So it's on its way. It's just the opening weekend. Cat 4 also had a budget of 180 million. Deadpool and Wolverine had a budget of 200 million, but that made $1 billion, so that doesn't matter.
And it's a different animal.
It's a very different animal. Very different animal. So looking ahead at Fantastic Four, do we think we're entering something of a hot streak, or you and I have had this conversation off air.
Yeah.
That I don't know that I think Fantastic Four is going to bomb.
No.
I don't know what bombing means in this current, because people talk about movies if it bombed, and it's like you look at the budget and you're like, well, that seems fine. But anyway, I just know for me, you show me any trailer for Superman, James Gunn's Superman, any trailer for Fantastic Four, I feel nothing. The Superman trailer, I feel everything. And maybe that's a me thing. I like the Fantastic Four. I want a good Fantastic Four movie, but Superman's my guy. So, but then you show me stuff like this, and it's like this.
It's awful looking.
Looks bad. People are like, I've had a lot of comments. People, how do you expect? By the way, if you're listening, it's an image of the Silver Surfer, Julia Gardner Silver Surfer, in the movie. And people are like, how do you expect a Silver Woman to look? It's like, I don't know. Maybe not like a blob of mercury. Maybe have some sort of musculature. If you want the Silver Surfer to be a woman, maybe it's bad if you're afraid of the female form.
Showing
like maybe form?
I don't know.
I'm not talking about like nudie nipples and all. I'm just talking about like having a general body shape that's not like a melted Barbie doll.
Yeah. It's for me, it's the hair.
The hair's weird
because it's too detailed, and like just
yeah
make it interpretive, but also just don't make it just don't change Silver Surfer. But I don't know what I can't speak to any of it because I'm like, look, if it was just Silver Surfer in the MCU as a woman, I'd be like, I'd be having a different conversation. I'd be like,
yeah
why? What are we doing? There's another universe. And it's like, we're deliberately showing you something different. And
yeah
for the life of me, I don't know why, outside of like, maybe so Johnny can have a relationship with her. And I'm like,
well
what?
on the one hand, I do on some level I do understand the instinct. One, you're pulling from 60s comics, a lot of swinging dicks around, all right? Also, in the comics, how you can correct me if I'm remembering wrong. In the comics, Silver Surfer decides to save humanity because he has a boner for Sue Storm. Because everybody had a boner for Sue Storm.
Alicia, I think he loves.
Oh, is it Alicia Masters?
Yeah,
That makes even less sense.
It's not even. By the way, it's not even that. Like, it's a lot less sexual than you think. Like that, Silver Surfer learns the beauty of humanity through the blind woman's eyes. I'm like,
that's actually
it's
that
poetic.
works.
I have a lot
That
of affinity for the old Fantastic.
Well, and here's the thing, and maybe this is a me thing. I think a lot of people are like, yeah, whatever, man. I don't care. It's like, well,
Sure.
it turns out I do care. I like the Silver Surfer, and I want the Silver Surfer. And so this is a reference I've made before, and I can only really make it with Sal because I know Sal will get what I mean. It's like if you were introducing, like, guys, we're finally bringing the Ghost Rider in the MCU, and it's Roxanne. It's not Johnny. It's not Johnny
Right?
Blaze. It's Roxanne. It's like, why? You even have another female Ghost Rider. Just do that one. Why are we doing this? But I do understand we want to switch it up a little bit. It gives Johnny something to do because he'll probably. I'm going to assume there's going to be, instead of Alicia Masters, it's Johnny Storm is going to be the one that opens Silver Surfer's eyes to whatever. I understand how in the middle of it, you're making all these decisions. Me and people are like, that's the other one I get. Oh, it's an alternate universe. It's like, so when are we going to see?
Yeah.
So what, Fantastic Four 3, we're going to do to Galactus story all over again, except in the main MCU?
Right. There's no way. The fact is like but Silver Surfer is a recurring character. So in this case, if they were to do it, okay, like you might either keep the Silver Surfer or redo it, but like we're not going to do the Coming of Galactus again.
Yeah, but then the other thing is, like, I thought, like, maybe they're working on a standalone Silver Surfer movie with Nora and Rad, and then it's like, wait, so your standalone Silver Surfer movie's not going to have the Silver Surfer you introduced in another movie?
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the fact is, like, for all these purposes, this is Silver Surfer. Like, it's just in the MCU, Silver Surfer will be a woman.
Okay,
and I don't like. Again, I don't understand the impulse, but outside of the thing where they go, I think there's only one woman in the cast.
And which is not nothing. And I don't want to be looped in with the guys that are like, ooh, woman bad. That's not what I'm trying to say.
That's not the point.
I like Nora and Rad. I wonder if I'd be more open if it's like, no, it's Nora and Rad. It's just Nora and Rad's a woman. Or the other one that I actually think would be interesting because not that this needs to be the justification to include a non-binary person, but Silver Surfer is this thing that's kind of is beyond. I think it might be interesting to cast a non-binary actor as Silver Surfer. That is something.
Silver Surfer's a mannequin.
Yeah. So it's like as opposed to this, which doesn't really like feel like anything to me. That at least feels like we're doing something.
Yes.
By switching it up. Anyway, so I've had my concerns. I do think budget. I feel like. Box office wise, Superman's going to slap Fantastic Four around. I think Superman's going to eat Fantastic Four's lunch, which does not mean it's going to be a bomb. I just think Superman's going to make all the money and Fantastic Four is going to do fine.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Only because I hope that people are down to go to Superman and let it be the start of the new DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, I think that's it.
Well, I think that's the thing, and people might be wondering why am I comparing Fantastic Four to Superman, other than the fact that they're releasing the same month. I think Fantastic Four is actually tasked with a similar job to Superman. It's set in a new universe. It's a bright Silver Age hero, set of heroes, and it's kind of restarting the next phase. So I kind of think if Fantastic Four does bad, Marvel is in bad shape.
Yeah. I mean, if Fantastic Four does bad, it means that Doomsday will underperform, which means that Secret Wars will underperform.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, we're probably going to be looking at like a reboot of the MCU.
I
Like,
think we're looking at a reboot of the MCU no matter what.
I think we're looking at a soft reboot of the MCU. I think we're going to keep what we like and we're going to change what we can't. Like Captain America will be recast, Iron Man will be recast, like everyone will be there, and Spider-Man will continue to be obnoxiously separate from this universe.
Yes. Yeah, because we can't do anything about that. So, before we leave the Fantastic Four overall, so the Fantastic Four 2005 grossed 333 million off of a $100 million budget.
Not bad.
Fantastic Four 2 did 302 million off a $120 million budget.
That tracks.
Yeah. And then Fant Four Stick from 2015 made 168 million off a $120 million budget.
Damn.
Yeah. So before we leave, how do we think, and this would have been easier, I feel like it would have been easier back when Twitter wasn't X.
Yes.
And you could get a sense. I have no sense of the hype around this movie other than the people yelling at me whenever I say like, hey, these trailers aren't doing anything for me.
Yeah.
I just don't know anymore. Are people going to show up for this new Fantastic Four?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Especially since one of the main
yeah.
Wouldn't one of the main selling points be what they did with Spider-Man? Like, hey, here's the Fantastic Four, and guess what? Hulk's going to show up. You're going to see Hulk fight Thing finally.
At the very least, like, we're going to Marvel the Fantastic Four. Like, we're going to give it the Marvel Studios treatment. Like, that was the excitement of Homecoming. Was like, finally.
Yes.
And they, didn't do it great. But
mixed
it was
results,
fun.
but yeah.
But yeah, like, this should be like, you should be excited that Marvel finally gets to tell their thing. I think this movie looks really good. I think it's going to be good, and I think it will make $700 to $800 million.
Okay,
that's my prediction. I think it will underperform. I think Superman will have a bigger opening weekend, and I think Fantastic Four will reach expectations, but it won't exceed them. We're not looking at a Deadpool Wolverine. We're looking at a successful Marvel movie.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a very.
But inside his office, Kevin Feige will throw a statue on the floor.
Yeah. He's like, this should have been our $1 billion. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. And truthfully, like I hope I go in. I hope I love this movie. I hope I leave this movie loving it. There's a lot of hurdles for it to clear for me. Of decisions that don't, and this is the problem with IP stuff, man. People have their expectations, right? And I'm not immune to that. And I hope we fans of superhero media get to eat well in July and have both Superman and Fantastic Four. We'll see. I will say the big kind of spoilers for Thunderbolts, the post-credit scene, we see the Fantastic Four ship. So, what everybody was already suspecting is they're leaving the universe. I will tell you this, Sal, I don't think Galactus, I think they're going to successfully save their Earth from Galactus. And then it'll be like, but now this thing, you know what I mean? Like,
but then it'll be an incursion. Like, they'll just destroy everything. Yeah.
And I think that'll be their motivation for, we've got to save our Earth. And of course, that's going to end up being, we're going to merge all the Earths and we're all going to be together.
The Earth isn't destroyed and they find out about incursions. And so they find out that they're incursioning with the MCU.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let's go over there.
Yeah. And
like, because the vibe when I saw it and from the theater's response was they are refugees.
Yeah.
But I wonder if maybe it's more that they're continuing to explore.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of shitty and it's kind of a tightrope to walk that the only people they save is themselves
It'd be rough.
That's a rough way to start your Fantastic Four. This segues us into Doomsday talk. Yes. And Hema, and we're going to answer some Discord questions. You want to be a part of our Discord, you can do that over at patreon.com/onlystupid Hema says, do you think the box office success of the Fantastic Four movie will be linked to Doomsday? Like in reshoots, how do you think the movie will do comparing it to Superman? I'm hyped for that movie. Well, we already kind of answered that part.
Yeah.
But I think, Sal, you touched on this. I do think Doomsday's success is kind of contingent on Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I wonder, because Fantastic Four is a relatively unknown property. When I say that, I mean, despite the fact that it has 4 different franchise movies out for it, or 4 different universes that you can draw from. For the general movie going audience, they're like, I'm like vaguely familiar with this concept.
Yeah.
Outside of like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, you can't just like drop a Fantastic Four reference on the general movie going audience and go, you get this, right?
Yeah.
like I promise you, 2/3 of the like movie going public, when they see Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, will think he's Tony Stark.
Yes. Oh, and dude, there's no way. I think by Secret Wars we don't get a I am Iron Man callback. Like he's not going to be Doctor Doom the whole movie. We're going to get
Robert. Get two of them.
Iron Man. Yeah,
he's going to play two characters.
At least,
going to be like,
if not more.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, no. So yeah, I think Fantastic Four is it has a tough road. It always did. They never did great, as we just talked about the box offices.
Yeah.
So,
which is why I think all the multiverse, all this stuff, it's like, why are you making it harder on yourself? Like, why
they're
are
just
you doing
constantly hamstringing themselves? Like, you know how to make a fun superhero movie that could also be subversive, and they're like, but let's be even more subversive and never do that again.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me. Doomsday, they shot that post-credit scene apparently for Thunderbolts,
Doomsday. The Thunderbolts
on the set of Doomsday. That is a Russo shot movie. Like that sequence entirely, from the costumes to the color balance, like it's a different looking movie, reminding me very much of that scene they shot that James Gunn filmed at the end of Thor.
Yeah,
of the Asgardians going to the Collector, and I love when no one knew who James Gunn was before Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Kenneth Branagh was like, I don't know who made that scene. I don't like that scene.
Yeah.
That scene is not part of my movie. Like, I do not approve. Yeah. And I'm like, well, no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. No one cares. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Because you have to earn. It's the same thing with Superman. It's like you have to earn your audience's trust again. And I kind
Superman is one of those things where it's like people are going to show up no matter what.
Yeah. But Superman's going to do well. It'll just be interesting if the hype around it is better than Man of Steel, because you need that for the rest. You need to power your engine going forward.
I'm a little worried based on how much stuff is clearly in Superman, like Mr. Terrific and Kellex and like not Kellex, but like at least the robots.
Yeah.
Like there's so much great, cool comic book stuff in here. Is that going to turn off general? Like, are people going to go like, I'd like to see Superman, but like, it looks like there's a lot of shit in it. Like Hawk Girl, And I'm like, look, I'd love to see Hawk Girl in a Superman movie, I guess. But also, I don't know if I would lead with that. It's, but it also is brilliant in its own way, because it's like, oh, you know how you love those MCU movies? We're starting from that.
We're just going all in. Mike Joyce in the Discord says, will there be multiple Avengers teams going forward? So at the end of Thunderbolts, we have the post credits. We have the Thunderbolts are now being branded the New Avengers, but they are in a pissing contest with Sam Wilson, who is fighting them over the Avengers brand. And one presumes he has his own group of Avengers. Yep. So I'm guessing with Mike Joyce's question, we're definitely going to get multiple Avengers teams in Doomsday. Which, by the way, we had the confirmed cast. There's been a report that of unannounced cast members. There's basically everybody else. Like every Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, whatever, I've
heard everybody but Tom Holland.
Well, he's supposed to be filming. He's supposed to be filming the Odyssey at the same time. Yeah. Also, I'm still holding out hope that the rumors are Spider-Man 4 takes place during Doomsday, implying that it's not going to be a multiverse thing.
Fine by me.
And again, Sal and I have been very open. Daredevil and maybe Punisher and Kingpin. Please and thank you.
Yes, all that so that Secret Wars can be Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Also from the Shang-Chi director. Yeah, man. Give me a Daredevil action scene with Shang-Chi director. Come on, let's do it.
That would be great. Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it if Daredevil hung out with Shang-Chi. That would not bother me.
He has. It would be nice if Shang-Chi it'd be actually kind of funny to make Shang-Chi like a street level character, though I think he's part of Sam's Avengers now.
He should have been a Disney Plus show. Shang-Chi would have been perfect for a TV show.
Big time.
Jan the man says, or is that Jan the man? Says, yeah, my big question would really be about how you think those will be compared to each other. They're both fresh starts. I'm thinking maybe Superman and Fantastic Four is what we're talking about. Starts for the brand, and both broadly seem to be taking a similar approach, ditching the militarized aesthetic and looking more optimistic.
Yeah.
is Fantastic Four looking more optimistic? I understand it's more bright and colorful, but all the trailers are like, we're sad. Galactus is coming. We have these powers. And it's like, what? Where's the bright, zippy, optimistic, swashbuckling thing I've been promised that this movie's going to be?
I think it will be there. I think they're also I think they're trying to show, like, to differentiate. They want you to know that this movie's about something.
I also think they're holding their possibly being a little too cagey with this movie. I think that there probably will be a whole Mole Man sequence that homages the original.
Oh, that's going to be the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one of those like, I think you might be a little overconfident. I think you might want to show some of that stuff in the trailers. I think.
Yes. I think that there's a sequence in one of the new trailers where we see Reed stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I think they wanted to save that.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No, I think you need to, because at least you're not selling me. And maybe I'm the outlier, but I'm like, yeah. People are like, John Malkovich is like the Red Ghost or something. Show me that shit, man. Show me some of the fun. If there's going to be a big montage of like, look, they did all the things. So show me some of that shit and I'll be more into it.
Yes, I agree.
Leonard Kim, what MCU character do you want to see go into the void? This is Sentry's little void room that he has in order to explore more of their background, not because we want them gone rolling on the floor laughing. I'm going to throw this up.
Spider-Man would have been cool.
Spider-Man would be cool. Sal, I had two thoughts watching Thunderbolts. There's a really cool action scene where Sentry throws kicks the Thunderbolts ass. Like he just and it was one of those, a few things ran through my mind. It's like, this scene's cool.
Yep.
Sentry's a problem. And also we go back to when the day is saved, spoilers for Thunderbolts. And Bob was like, oh yeah, what happened? I was like, God, this guy's such a fucking problem. This guy's a problem.
I love that. You know, okay. This is, I'll put this on this show.
Yeah.
Doom is going to pull out Sentry's skeleton.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, that's what I was going to put. That was my third thing was like, because I immediately started like, I can't wait to see this guy interact with. I'm like, DJ, you're not going to get that. Sentry is now going to be the guy that gets his ass handed to him because we saw how powerful he was. And I'm like, that bums me out. That bums me out.
They killed Thanos too many times in the cartoon. They're not just going to do that. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to put,
I am convinced that in Secret Wars, a member of our Secret Wars team will be Thanos.
Oh, I hope not.
Like a multiverse. I kind of hope they do. I kind of like the idea that a multiverse Thanos joins the team because we do that with X-Men all the time. Magneto's the bad guy. Now we've done it too many times in X-Men, but the first couple times we did it. Yeah. Not too bad where it's like, this is the bad guy. Now we have to work with him. And it's like, right. I like the idea of a full Avengers shot and here's Thanos with the team.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I hear you. I won't dismiss it immediately, but I also thought it was funny in Thunderbolts. There was that shot because like the event, like there's a opening line of the movie is like the Avengers aren't coming.
Yeah.
And then over New York in the spot where the Chitauri invaded and the Avengers were born, Superman is there.
Yeah.
And the crowd is like, yay. And then he kills them.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of like a conversation there where they're like, we know Superman's coming and we know he may eat our lunch.
Out. Yeah.
So like, let's talk about that in kind of like a weird meta cinematic way.
Maybe that did not occur to me. What occurred to me in that moment is like, what a nightmare world.
What a scary world you're
because you know, back in 2012 the Chitauri invaded. Oh my God. Then half of the population gets snapped out of existence. Then right as you figure it out, they come back. My God. Now there's this guy that's making you a Hiroshima ghost and it's like, what? How do I leave this universe, man? Like, oh my God. And now we're going to get multiverse incursion bullshit where it's like, last week I didn't have, I only had a son and now I have a son and two daughters. So like, that's my life now.
Well, I have a son and I have a Fox son.
Yeah. From the Fox universe.
Yeah. It's a little grittier.
Jake Hefner, do you think the multiple factions of heroes in the MCU will last? Before it was just the Avengers and the Guardians, and now it's the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four thrown in the mix. Do you think the MCU will be able to juggle them all, or will some of them fall to the wayside? Well, I definitely, I want to keep I originally wanted to do a Thunderbolts 2 conversation with you, which we might do down the road of like who would we like to see and a Thunderbolts sequel, and keep it Thunderbolts. You know what I mean? And not New Avengers. But I thought it'd be more interesting. I don't know. That felt. I'm going to be honest with everybody at home. Having what could Thunderbolts 2 be? Felt like a too optimistic a conversation to have.
I agree,
dude. I don't know if we're going to have movies. I don't know if we're going to have movies in 2 years, let alone a Thunderbolts 2, let alone an MCU, let alone a Thunderbolts 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, optimistically speaking, if like the world keeps spinning the way it is, and there's no significant hiccups in the entertainment industry, which is impossible to predict.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did, you could do any number of Thunderbolts. It would have been cool to do the Busick version.
Yeah.
Where it's the actual premise. That would have been fun. You could also do the Red Thunderbolts, where it's Red Hulk and Punisher and Elektra and stuff. You obviously have to sub some people out. For some reason, they're never going to put like Elodie Young in these movies.
Yeah.
But that would be cool to see. And then there's later ones which I don't care.
Yeah, but I think it depends on how this goes. No, you know what? I'm going to be honest, because I was going to say I feel like they've settled on the Avengers is event movies, which is why we haven't gotten any Sam Wilson Avengers before these ones where everybody shows up, which I think
it's really frustrating because I would rather see events, or I'd rather see like these moments. Like New Avengers could actually be a great opportunity. To be that, like to be those movies where it's like, look at these characters interacting and doing the fun things, like the lifting the hammer scene, the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it would have been a good opportunity to endear us. Like when I was talking to Roxy, I was like, wait, are the only times we've seen Florence Pugh's Yelena are Black Widow, Hawkeye, and now this?
Yes,
that's crazy.
Yes.
So I think it's a missed opportunity, but I do think we'll actually get back to Avengers movies. But I do think it'll be a recast Steve Rogers, a recast Tony Stark, a recast Hulk, probably.
Yeah.
Probably a recast, maybe not a recast Natasha, because Yelena is a real, Florence Pugh in the MCU is a real win.
She's a win. She's a get. She's great. She's not just a name, but also a great actor who has a really fun journey. Like she is more Black Widow than Scarlett Johansson turned out to be.
That's why there was. I had a conversation with Roxy. She was like, "Wait, is it wrong that I'm shipping Bob and Yelena in this movie?" And I'm like, "It's not necessarily wrong, but my caveats are we did the same exact thing with Hulk and Nat, and it didn't turn out great. Also, because to Sal's point that Yelena's more like, oh, it's Black Widow. I still want to see Daredevil hang out with Black Widow, and it's big like time. Yelena is around. So I'm still kind of holding out hope for that, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
So speaking of, let me see if I can pull this up. Speaking of Doomsday, before we wrap up, we had the whole chair announcement. Here are the other people we're supposed to be getting. Mark Ruffalo, Hulk, and they say this is for Doomsday, but I'm like, are you sure it's Doomsday and not Secret Wars? But they're saying it's Doomsday. We got Bruce Banner, we got Wong, we got Carol Danvers, we got Rhodey, we got Nebula, we got Jeremy Renner returning as Clint Barton, Kamala Khan, Okoye, Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson returning as Valkyrie, Ke-Huy Quan as Ouroboros. Reading this list, I'm like, okay, so the Fox X-Men are going to show up one scene to get blown up in an incursion, and that's the end of them. They're not going to be in this movie.
I think we're going to get like an Avengers versus X-Men fight.
That would be cooler if it was the MCU's X-Men and not the leftover Fox X-Men that we could get.
Oh, it's leftover Fox X-Men, and they're like, we're going to protect our world, and then they all die. It's really
again. Teyonah Parris is Monica Rambeau. Adam Warlock's coming back. Riri Williams, America Chavez, Sylvie from the Loki show is supposed to be coming back. This is all rumored, by the way. Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. Yahya Abdul-Mateen the second as Wonder Man. I'm excited for that show.
Whatever the hell that is.
Whatever that is, man. I'm telling you guys should have done a West Coast Avengers movie, man. Catherine Newton is Cassie Lang. B-15 is coming out. Gwenmu Musaku from Loki and Deadpool and Wolverine. Lashana Lynch is Maria Rambeau. The two Rambeaus make sense because last time we saw them both, they were in an X-Men universe. So the fact that they weren't in the initial announcement was weird.
Yes.
Femke Jensen is Jean Grey. Halle Berry is Storm. Phil Lavelle from the tail end of Guardians 3. Mobius. Owen Wilson is Mobius. Peter Quill Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. This movie is there's
no
a chance.
way.
There's a chance, and Charlize Theron is Clea. Benedict. I keep thinking I'm done. Sorry, everybody. Benedict Cumberbatch is back. Peggy Carter. Chris Evans, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon, Vin Diesel as Groot, Cosmo is back, Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. That's another real win. I'm surprised we haven't seen her again since that show. This, I feel like, we'll end here on this question. I feel like just because of the exponential, massive budget of this movie, and because of where the MCU's met at, and truthfully, where we are at globally, as the American financial system. Yeah. There's a real chance this movie bombs. There's a non-zero chance that Doomsday bombs. Just not because it does poorly, but because the amount of budget it needs to make up. It's just unfeasible.
Yep. It's a concern, and it's one that I definitely have, where I'm like, through no fault of this movie's own, and I understand the motivation behind doing this, but also you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket, and eggs are very expensive.
More expensive, and that's a great way of putting it. Eggs are more expensive now than they have been in a very long time, and so you sure giving fucking RDJ $300 million or whatever they're paying him to be not even Iron Man. It's like I'm concerned. I
wouldn't. Yeah, it may be a bridge too far. Maybe asking too much. I don't know. But
okay, on hype level for Doomsday, I'll give you my example. On hype level for Doomsday, I'm kind of a coin flip. I'm like, I really like Endgame.
Yeah.
And even though I haven't liked any movie the Russos have done since, it's like they do well. Some of my favorite Marvel movies are Civil War, Winter Soldier, Endgame. So like, I'm hopeful. But I like Fantastic Four. There's announcements like RDJ is doomed, and I'm like, that has me worried. I am now more worried than I have been in a while.
Yes. I don't know if I can say I'm excited. I'm just hopeful.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Well, listen, we've still got plenty of time. I think Sal and I might revisit this conversation post Fantastic Four, because that'll be a better bellwether on where the MCU is at. Because is that the next? Is it Fantastic Four then Doomsday then a year later? Is that the?
Yes, it's Fantastic Four, Doomsday, Spider-Man.
There's not any movie between them?
No. Yeah, which like Feige says, like, I mean, like, I understand them where they're like, we're not gonna just throw shit at you.
Yeah.
Oh, also, isn't there there's an Ironheart show at some point too?
There's stuff on there's shows, but I think we're gonna get a Daredevil season 2. We got that Punisher special. Okay, well, let us know in the comments how you guys are feeling about Doomsday. Are you hyped? Because social media is not really helping me out here. Are you guys hyped for Fantastic Four? Are you hyped for Doomsday? Let me know in the comments. Sal, where can the kids find what you're working on?
Swing by youtube.com/ComicPop and Comic Pop Returns for more of me and my friends.
Check that out. You can find me DJ Talks Trash everywhere that matters. Check out my personal channel. Sal and I do a show called Krypton Academy where we talk about all the Superman movies. We had a very long discussion about Man of Steel that you can check out over there. I also did, for my show Trash Talk, I had an interesting conversation about Andrew Sage, about anarchism. I'm trying to do some interesting stuff with Trash Talk. And so I'd appreciate you guys going over there and checking it out. And of course, if you missed my Kickstarter for Danger Boy and the Antagonists, you can go to dangerboycomic.com and click the pre-order store link and pre-order a copy. Those will be coming out later in the year. And there's indie comics. It's tough with indie comics. So any support you can give is very much appreciated. And I think you're going to really like it. Sean's doing some great work over there. Anyway, we will see you all later. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.